up here so I can hopefully embarrass my little brother, Josh. My big brother, actually. I'm Josh's closest brother. In age. We're a year and 8 months apart. And from the start, I was always trying to catch up to Josh. Be that in school, I ended up just a year behind him in school, so I was trying to catch up there. Or be that when we were little and our family was in Southeast Asia, and Josh went to his first year of school, was at a boarding school. And man, would I've loved to have gone. Then we came back to the States. Or back in those same days, one time, Josh and some of his friends, his age, were having a bike race around the block. And so I wanted to catch up to Josh, as always. And so I decided I'd join in on the bike race. But as we're coming to that last corner, turn, and these are on all dirt roads, and I'm way behind those guys. But I'm trying to catch up, right? So I'm, pumping the pedals, legs pumping, about to faint in the heat, and as I take that last turn, out go the ball tires, and down go I into the sewer ditch on the side of the road. But enough about me. It's about Josh, right? And Beth. Let's not forget Beth. If it wasn't trying to catch up, then it was looking up to Josh. Not just literally, because he still has half an inch on me. But, in other ways too, like when around those same, younger days, he used to sit on my head, just for fun. So that now you know where I got these smarts from whenever you carry an intelligent conversation with me.
The shape of the head.
Or maybe I was looking up to Josh when I would follow him around everywhere through schools. I followed him into the next school and the next, and to the same college at the University of Virginia. And he introduced me to many friends and the community, many friends of whom are here for the wedding. You didn't introduce you. So you'd think he'd get sick of it after a while of me looking up to him, or trying to catch up to him, or just following him around, as well as maybe get sick of it from all 4 younger siblings. And I'm sure he did at many moments, because you see, if anyone knows the pressure points for Josh, or could give him a run for his money in wrestling or a good fight around the house, that would be me. So I'm sure he had his moments that he did get sick of me, but ultimately he didn't disown us, he didn't disown me, but he's remained the steady leader of the pack. And I guess that's what I'd like to say, to give you some insight into Josh, is that concept, a steady leader. He kind of pioneers things, and there's really not that much that can faze Josh. What's a good example of how nothing can really faze him too much? There was one time in the high school days, we're on the same wrestling team, and we're at a tournament, and Josh is going up against this guy who he's not really supposed to beat. That his opponent thinks he's got this match, he's going to take Josh, right? But Josh is in fact beating him. He's wrestling a great match, and he's getting under his opponent's skin because he's getting frustrated. He's playing great defense, and you can see the guy getting more and more frustrated, right? He's like, I can't lose to this guy. So eventually, it's getting towards the end, he sees he can't take him, he's not going to beat him, and something snaps, and the guy just throws him a elbow in the face. And everybody's like, what just happened? But Josh takes the elbow to the face and just snaps back right into his stance. Like, he didn't know what happened either. It didn't even faze him. He kept wrestling, but the ref stopped it. The guy gets kicked out of the tournament. And we're just cracking up on the sidelines not because of the fact that, the guy just elbowed him in the face, which was kind of funny because it's totally against the rules. This isn't like WWF or anything, but the fact that Josh takes it right in the face and is right back in his wrestling stance right in the keep us. So that's probably the best, and I could give many other stories, many other examples, but probably the best one I could think of how there's not too much to faze with Josh. And so the point of that seemingly rabbit-trailed story was that Josh has always been very steady and very faithful. And I know that the reason why he is so is that he knows his identity. More specifically, knowing that his identity is in Christ and the love that God, his Father, has for him. And I've always admired that. I've admired that steadiness, that faith, and that faithfulness. And I'm sure that many of you have seen those attributes as well. Those who know Josh well, you know how steady he is and faithful. Beth, I'm sure that you've seen these things too, and you're coming to know them very well. And I just want to say how happy and excited I am for both of you guys. I know he's found a wonderful partner in you. And Josh, how lucky you are, because not too many people find their first love and then end up marrying them as you are doing tomorrow. And so Beth, you've seen his faithfulness, and I want to encourage you both that to make that the same foundation, make that same foundation central to your relationship. And that foundation is knowing who you are and whose you are. Knowing who you are in Christ, your identity, and whose you are as children of God. And I know that when you do that in your marriage, you'll come to know God's faithfulness more and more, and His perfect love for you more and more. And that will allow you to in turn, live a life of faithfulness. And then you'll truly be able to love each other within your marriage and to love others well. So don't just keep it to yourselves. That's the one part, loving each other well, but live that within the community too. Because you guys are already doing a great job of loving others. As I said, I'm really excited for you. Even the work you guys are doing now with your jobs in DC and the nonprofit work, you guys both have hearts to serve. And you'll be able to do that so much stronger and in a much more powerful way together as a team. So excited for you guys. The journey you're starting tomorrow. And I guess here's a toast. To
I'm absolutely thrilled to be here and see that their wedding day has finally arrived. There's been a lot of build-up, and we're really happy that it's actually tomorrow. I've known Beth for about 6 years, and in 2009, I was visiting Vermont at Christmas, and Drew had the vacation and visit planned out to a T. So one day we were supposed to go to Quebec City, and it happened to be one of the worst winter storms of the season. So we drive up there and made it safely, but we wanted to walk around in this 12-degree weather outside. It's really cold. So Drew and I are fully clothed, boots, hat, large ski jackets, scarves, and ski masks. You could only see our eyes. We kind of look scary. Then here's Beth. She has on these paper thin shoes, jeans that are getting wet from the snow and the puddles, maybe, what, no socks. No socks, I'm just reminded. Maybe a hat, a pea coat, and I don't think she had gloves, but I remember thinking to myself, wow, that girl is hardcore. Here I am, a Southern Belle, I cannot handle the cold, and she is just like, it's just another day in the 50s. But Beth really is hardcore. She went to Italy by herself before college for an art class. She's taught rock climbing, she's led campouts, and she was in charge of a college entertainment board. She's done some pretty impressive things. But from marrying into the family and observing the brother-sister relationship between Beth and Drew, I've seen that Drew had a lot of influence on some of Beth's life's decisions. Drew encouraged Beth to attend Erskine, major in business, and go to China to teach. I also know that some of that encouragement was perceived as pressure rather than encouragement. So, Beth, while you may not have been happy at times, I think those decisions are good now, and I think you're happy. So, definitely, these were a part of God's will and plan for your life, because during your time at Erskine, you made a commitment to the Lord and accepted Him as your Savior. In China, you taught business and put your bachelor's degree to good use, which also led to a great and interesting job in D.C. But by being in China, you met Josh, this dashing, athletic, spiritual, good-humored man you fell in love with. From the few visits I've had with Josh, I quickly learned he is hardworking, caring, and he too loves the Lord. Many of you may not know that Josh spent some time in Rock Hill at our house before they were engaged. It was during that time that I got to sit down with Josh individually and quiz him about expectations in life. At dinner one evening, Drew had to take a call for work, and we were almost done with dinner, but that left open discussion for me and Josh. I almost immediately brought up engagement proposal questions because we heard that Beth and Josh were serious. So I wanted to find out how serious. So Josh answered my questions gracefully, and clearly he had thought about the future together with Beth. Drew then enters the conversation and gives Josh the second degree, but is expected from an older brother, right? So, after you take your vows tomorrow, you have made a promise to both God and man. Remember to protect your marriage by always keeping Christ at the center. We love you both, and we could not be more happy to see you journey as a married couple.
Not quite as tall as Jesse, so maybe I stand tall. Stand up, Bruce. So what a nice destination wedding for all of us, yeah? None of us live here, but it's a very nice place. I was walking around the lake this morning, and I saw blackberry bushes, and the clouds were going past the mountains, and the lake was as smooth as glass. So check it out in the morning, wake up early, and go out and experience nature. And then, we were doing that rehearsal, and Charlie said to me, he was standing next to me, and he said, "This is just a really nice spot, despite the goose droppings." And I really think there's no better spot for my sister. This is so Beth Carlisle to be married out in creation in the great outdoors. So it's a great spot, and we are all glad to be here. So thanks to Josh and the Andersons for this meal tonight. Thanks to Mom and Dad for tomorrow. And clearly, we are all here because we love Josh and Beth. It's a uniting of bride and groom tomorrow, but also two families coming together. And so Josh, welcome to our family in Andersons. We look forward to visiting you at the farm now that you're back in America. Beth told me earlier this week that she was pretty worried that I would get up here and I would tell stories about how when I was 7 and she was 3, one time I happened to be chewing on her ponytail. That's what older brothers do. And I found an old, cold spaghetti noodle in that ponytail. But I'm not going to tell embarrassing stories tonight. I want to talk for a moment seriously about perspective. Ashley and I go to a wedding almost every weekend. We're wedding videographers. And down here in the South, in the nexus of the wedding industrial complex, we see the height of over-the-top extravagance with really fancy dresses from New York City and fireworks and horse-drawn carriages for little Cinderellas, little princesses. And I want to make one thing clear, and that is, my sister, she's not a princess. But she'll look very nice in her dress tomorrow, very nice. And she's a pretty person in the kind of sense that she looks like a female version of me. But what I really want to say is that my sister has like a level head on her shoulders. Beth sees past the events of tomorrow. And some brides might think of a wedding day as, some idol, a capstone, a cultural public signifier that they have their life together and everyone should be jealous of them and their love. But she's got it together, and so does Josh. Tim Keller has a series on the purpose of marriage being gospel reenactment. So when the Bible likens the husband to Christ and the wife to the church, we're being told that basically our marriages are a covenant made to paint pictures of cross-centered love. Josh and Beth understand that entirely. I interviewed both of them separately yesterday for the wedding video. You'll see it later. Check it on Facebook. And I noted a few things. One, of course, they're both very excited for their wedding day. And two, they both call each other each other's best friends. And you both said that you're ready to follow whatever God's plan is for both of you. And I would say that as Calvinist Carlyles, we would say that that is predestined love, preordained love. Yeah? We got a couple Presbyterian ministers over here. Beth's good for Josh. Josh is very good for Beth. Josh is intelligent, persistent, resourceful, respectful, and charitable towards others. I'm a little worried that Ashley and I are going to have kids, maybe at the same time as Beth and Josh, and their super tall kids are going to beat up my unathletic children. Beth, my little sister, will be forever remembered to me as that perfect little girl that you've been seeing coming up on the slideshow. She was a joy-filled, Harry Potter-loving, tap jazz dancing Vermonter who easily sunburned. And in adulthood, she still likes Harry Potter and is still fair-skinned, but she's also a people-loving, mural-painting, business-teaching, Fulbright scholar coordinating Virginian now. And thanks to going to college in South Carolina, she sports a fluctuating Southern accent. But really, Josh and Beth make an impressive DC power couple. I'm sure that through their work and in life, they will continue to affect positive change in the world and will spur one another onward to love and good deeds. I am proud to be Beth's brother. Growing up, it was so fun to have her as a little sister. And to brag for a second, her first word was Andrew. She took her first steps to me in the kitchen of our house. I heard her give her first joke, and I remember her first comeback from when I was teasing her. So she's a tough kid. She's a tough and creative kid, and she always has been. Recently, I helped her and actually pressured her into a number of life decisions, like going to Erskine College, majoring in business, and teaching in China. I just always wanted the best for her. So, Beth, you know I've always been bossy, and I'm sorry. Tonight, I officially resign in my capacity as older brother of telling you what to do. You picked Josh, and that was a great decision, and I couldn't have imagined a better match for you. Your life is now in your hands. There you go. For a period of about 5 years, when I was still living at home, Beth, she didn't want to go to bed at night. My parents would make her go to her room. She'd bang on the wall until I came in. I'd tuck her feet under the covers, I'd fluff her pillow, I'd give her a big hug, and I'd say, "You're my favorite sister." In her little voice, she'd say, with similar disgust, every time, this was an ongoing thing, "I'm your only sister." So to Beth, my favorite sister, and to Josh, my new brother, we both wish you well and all the best. So to Beth and Josh.
Say something about Beth and Josh.
I love Beth and Josh.
Almost like I've been a series of stuff Drew said do. And then in China speaking Mandarin.
Let me pick up the story here because Josh has been waiting 2 years for a good girl to woo. And maybe Beth just likes the tall guys or the name Anderson. They know kung fu and great wall hikes. There's nothing like they've ever known before. Love is a mean snake bite. Josh is her knight. Love is a rattlesnake bite. Run those traffic lights. Love is a big snake bite with you, with you. Love is a memorable engagement story. It's a good story, right? I mean, it's crazy. They like eating Chinese. Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
But there's not someone
Who thinks so analytically? Jinx! Jinx again! They're two kids from the B states who are definitely soulmates. Josh, we're meant to be.
say goodbye.
Say goodbye to single days of the past. Now your future looks very bright. Love is a big snake bite. Josh is Mr. Right. Love is a rattlesnake bite. They'll never have fights. Love will be more than alright.
Having been
Having kids, their love is out of sight. Can I say something crazy? Josh's family's from Virginia.
but they lived in Bolivia?
I'll go ahead and go. I don't have quite as much to say as I had planned, although I could go on and talk for hours about Josh and Beth. But I do want to say just a couple of things to you guys, because they're very dear to me. And, well, I guess, as Jesse said, I've always looked up to Josh, literally. And he's known me since day one. And we've, always gotten along pretty well, but again, you know how it goes with siblings. But Josh is a very resourceful man, and he always tries to share his great ideas with everyone. And so one day, a few weeks ago, we were hanging out with Josh and Beth and another friend of mine. We went to the beach, Chincoteague Island. Has anyone been there? Maybe? Assateague? Yep.
Nobody.
It's a beautiful place. And we went out to the beach. Beth, of course, got sunburned in like 10 minutes. And whoever lost was chucked in the ocean, and it was freezing cold, just the beginning of summer. And of course, Josh got out first. Didn't want to admit it. Beth and my friend did too, and I ended up winning the game. But little did I know, as I'm watching all three of them have to make their way into the ocean and get in the cold water, Josh came running around when I turned around and picked me up and tossed me in with them. But anyway, after that, we started walking to go on a short little hike and go out on this marshland. And we had with us a little snack. We brought along an entire watermelon for the four of us. So we just cut it 4 ways. We each had a whole quarter of a watermelon. And we're going along on this path with our huge quarter of a watermelon, showing our faces into it. And finally we got to the point where we had eaten all the watermelon that you could eat cleanly without getting the juice all over you. And we're at that point where you either had to go all face in, or you had to do something else. You had to cut it up more. So Josh had the brilliant idea of snapping these quarters of watermelon in half on our knees. And so he decided to go first with this brilliant idea. And we're all watching him. And he's getting so ready, and he gets focused on what he wants to do. And so he snaps this quarter of a watermelon, and all the pressure that he puts on it forces the 2 halves to just fall apart and fall to the ground. And we lost our quarters of watermelons. And he convinced the rest of us to try to do the same thing, and said he'd be there to catch them. He wasn't. So we all lost our watermelon that day. But he was definitely very, yes, always been very caring and kind. Maybe the fact that I've been at home the past few weeks when it was just Josh, going out to work and cooking him some meals and, driving him to the metro and things like that to help out. But he's always very kind regardless of the situation. And I know that that's something, Beth, that I can say it's very defined. He's a very good mate to you, I think. And anywho, on to Beth. She is also quite the resourceful one. There's several times when she just knew exactly what I needed, or what to do to help out in the situation. A couple of just small examples. I mentioned to her that I was looking for a summer job, just kind of put it out there, maybe an internship or a job for the summer, but I don't know, just a little thing. And the next day, I got an email from Beth, and so I suddenly opened it, and there was a huge list of link after link after link of links out to jobs and all sorts of ideas and things on Indeed, and just really hooked me up with a lot of great job opportunities. Nothing's come through yet, but she was definitely very helpful in that way. And another time, we were going down to Charlottesville, where I go to school, and where Josh and Jesse graduated from, as well as my parents. And they were being very helpful in driving me there, or rather letting me drive their car. They came along with me, and they were going to help me move some things at my apartment. And so we started going, we picked up Beth, and started out on 66. It was a pretty easy drive. I've gone that way many, many times. It's just 66 to 29. And for some reason this time, we picked up Beth a little further out on 66, and then we started having a really long, deep conversation, as we've had many that I've really enjoyed. And Josh was just in the back taking a nap, and so not really being useful at that moment. But Beth was my navigator, and I thought I knew the way pretty well, no big deal. And we get going, and we've gone for about 30, 45 minutes until I turn around and I go, Josh, Beth, do you guys recognize this? Do you know where we are right now? Do you recognize this area? And Josh woke up, and he had no idea where we were, and I didn't either. And so we finally realized that we had gone maybe 30, 45 minutes out of the way. And Beth gets out her GPS on her phone and quickly diverted us to another route to get back on the way. So that was very, very helpful of her. And she's always helping people. I'm sure all of you know that. The two of them are such servants, and they really serve from their heart. That's something that I've really had the pleasure of seeing in them and experiencing it myself, but also seeing how they do that to others, and all because of their love for Christ Jesus. So I really urge both of you to keep doing that more, and serve each other, love each other wholeheartedly. We love you. So let's toast Josh and Beth.
I'll go. Yes, please.
But I'm my bulletproof vest.
So I've known, unlike Jesse and Lisa, I've known Josh. I've looked down on him. Josh was when he was a little guy. And so, we were at the church, neighborhood church, and the Andersons were, of course, in the area. So the first time I met them was just on a regular day out playing football with some of the kids and the adults. And so I remember Jesse and Josh. I remember Jesse because he was this little guy with the same head he has on right now. I mean, this small kid with a huge head. And then Josh came, I could recognize him because we're playing football, and this kid is wearing like headbands, wristbands, everything that's non-football gear Josh is wearing. So I figured, those are those missionary kids right there. So we're playing football, and it's a pretty seesaw game. Josh looking at the team, Jesse was on my team, and it's going back and forth, and it gets to like maybe 10-10, we're tied up, and we say next touchdown wins. And so Josh's team gets the ball, and they're deep in their end zone, so they got to go the whole field. And of course, a few incomplete passes, and Josh goes, "Hey, I want to try quarterback this one time." And so I was pretty observant, and I said, "Okay, this kid doesn't know what he's doing." So he calls height, and of course, there's probably like 20 people scattered across the field just saying, "Pass to me, pass to me." And I didn't know, he didn't know me yet. So I said, let me throw my hands up as if I'm on his team, right? And all the chaos and see what he does. And I stand like right in front of him as if like there's no way you can miss it. And I say, right here. And he throws it. As soon as he releases it, I can see his face like, this is not my teammate. Too late. So I intercept the ball, I run it in for a touchdown, and we win. And I look back, and Josh has this most deflated look. But it's not from losing, but it's from looking at me like, I can't believe this Chinaman. As a full-grown adult convinced me to throw the ball to him, and I'm a kid, right? And so that's when he first got introduced that I'm not your grandfather's Chinaman. I mean, I'm a different breed. So from that point forward, the relationship was born. And for the next decade and a half, he's been not only just a student to me, but just a confidant, a friend, and somebody that has been, somebody to discuss and be intellectually drawn into conversation with, somebody that even after high school has invited me to participate and be active in his, not just his spiritual journey, but in his life. And come to find out that not only does he go to China, but find somebody that is equally yoked with him, equally versed, and actually better versed in Chinese than myself. And so that's something that's unique in itself. But and if any indication of the trust that you all have in each other, Beth, I don't know why you trusted Josh in that engagement plan, but that's just indicative of the type of relationship that you'll have with Josh. It's rare to find somebody that will laugh at his jokes. Because for years I laughed at Josh, but you actually laugh at his jokes. That's a trait and a characteristic to be admired. That's something that's rare and only God gives us. So take advantage of that. But this has just been a great time getting to know you all, and the conversations we had leading up to this only reaffirms the commitment you have in Christ to each other, and the long-lasting devotion and trust that you all have displayed to your families will not only exponentially grow from this point forward. So I'm just equally blessed to be here, to be a part of this, and to be allowed to just celebrate in that happiness tomorrow. So thank you.
My name is Lee Burris, and I met Josh and Beth both in China. Beth and I came in the same year, and Josh was my neighbor, and Beth would happen to come by and visit me often. And I didn't realize until later that she wasn't really coming by to visit me. She was wandering by my room to see if Josh happened to be around. But no, so I took one for the team and let her stop by. But I just want to say this. In meeting both of them and getting to know both of them, I look at Josh and there's this man of character and godliness and strength and leadership. And seeing Beth before you guys became a couple and seeing her now, I've really seen her blossom under your love and encouragement and patience. And Beth and I, last year, the second year we were there, just really had some good times of relational growth. I'm much older than Beth, but she became like a little sister to me, and I would correct her in ways often harsh. I have younger siblings, and I'm a mama bear, so I kind of get straight to the point and try to develop the character and that sort of thing. And so, and she handled it with such grace. And when I was in the wrong, she put me in my place and said, "This is what you've done. This is the way it comes across." And so I've learned so much from you, Beth, and I'm so thankful for you. And I know that God has incredible plans for the both of you, and I love you both so much. So.
My name is Wei. I'm from China, and I came to UVA for graduate school. So the first time I met Josh is through a Christian fellowship event, called Cabinet Christian Fellowship. That's the fellowship we both went to. And when I first saw him, I guess my first impression is, whoa, he's so tall. That's my first memory. But it was really good because in graduate school you have to read a lot of papers and you just like reading, have your head down every day. But when I meet him, then I have to like lift up my head and it's a really good exercise. Quite good experience. But anyway, and then in the I think the second year in graduate school, we actually moved in the same house, so we become housemates, and I think we just throughout a wonderful time to become friends with him at people level, and we have discussions with the Bible. We had cooking things together. I really enjoy cooking stuff with Josh, and he even gave his grandpa's secret recipe, cooked venison, which I have been using that to cook for friends, and everybody loves it, and just really cool. And this one thing I remember was really funny. This one year it snowed quite a bit, and Josh and I, we decided to do some sliding near a hill. If you know that place, it's like a big hill next to Yukon, and so we brought this plastic sliding board, and we decided to slide from the top. And the funny thing is, at the end of the hill, so you need to kind of turn, so you wouldn't because at the end the hill it actually links to the sidewalk, and it's probably 3 or 4 feet high.
6 feet.
6 feet is more. I'm not with units here. We use meters. To the sidewalk anyway. So you're supposed to turn at the end of the hill, so you wouldn't go run all the way and then fall to the sidewalk. I know we did it one year actually. Charlie tried to turn and he almost hit a big tree. Charlie's right there. He almost hit a big tree. Anyway, so Josh was standing so very excited there, and Josh had to turn, and then he took this video out, and he's trying to do a video shot at the bottom of the hill. So I was at the top, and I was just getting ready to slide down, and I was trying to make a turn, but I couldn't. So I went all the way down, and then I just fell to the sidewalk. And I was in pain, and I was groaning, and Josh started to laugh hysterically. So that was good. But anyway, it's not a piece about how he met Beth. Actually, the Lord used me So after his graduation, and he's looking for work, and one day, so we decided to go to this restaurant next to the church. We went here, and so this restaurant is kind of interesting. It's kind of, it always like go bankruptcy for some reason. So it always is a new restaurant there. So we went to this new one, it's open for a couple months. We went there, and so we're just having like lunch, and then we started talking about job options, and I started to mention about my friends who are, actually I started to mention about the like American teachers I met in China. They teach English in China. So I kind of suggest him, why don't you go and try it out and teach English in China. So actually that's something the Lord speaks to his heart too. So he did apply, and he got English school, and that's where he made Beth. So that was quite a bit. It's not a coincidence. I think the Lord actually brought him there. I think it was really cool that he's able to make Beth there. I think God's plan is just never what we expected, but it's wonderful. So that's mine.
My name's Toby, and I believe I'm his best friend in China. And also believe I'm the matchmaker. So when I first met Josh, we were in a church, and he was sharing his experience while he was in college, how he met God and he followed him. And I thought, hey, this guy is interesting. And back then I was a believer already, but I was in my freshman year. I didn't know any friends, and I went to talk with him, and that's when we first met. And after that, we found out lots of common topics. We found out we had like a lot of common interests. So we hang out a lot, and he introduced me to a lot of foreign friends, which are interesting to me because I learned a lot of different culture, different experience from them. And so I did the same thing to Josh. I brought him back to my family, and all of my family loved him. And we took him as, my dad took him as his son. We even gave his surname as Pan. His Pan is our surname. His English name is in Pan. So we had a good 3 happy years. And then Beth came up, and the first impression of Beth to me is she knows photography, and I like photography. So I spent the afternoon with her after church, looking at her photos, hearing stories from her, and I think, hey, this girl's a good girl. This girl's a good girl. And I talked with her. I said, okay, do you have a boyfriend or anything like that? And she said no. And I said, hey, I have a good friend. I have a good friend named Josh. Have you met him? And she said, yeah, I met him. He looks nice. I said, hey. Hey, you guys should get to know each other more. So I started to matchmaking them. And at first, I have to be honest, okay? Josh didn't agree with me at first. He said, maybe not. But I thought it's not gonna work out. And for like maybe 2 or 3 months, Josh texted me and said, hey, I went on a date with Beth, and we're dating now. I was like, what? And so they started dating, and they were a happy couple. But until a year before, when Josh, actually a year and a half, Josh left China, I was really sad because we had really good years in China and we were best friends. He was gonna leave China, and I don't know if I will ever be able to see him again, like in years. And I was really sad. I remember when I was saying goodbye to Josh, I never said goodbye. I said see you later. And then Beth stayed in China for another 6 months. And I remember, okay, now they're happy, but they had hard times, and I saw it. Like they had really hard times. They have strugglings. They have a lot of disagreements while they're separate. And I'm really glad that God had led them to this place now, and they're gonna get married tomorrow. And I told Josh and Beth, I said, when you guys get married, I will be there. And God did this, and I'm here. And I'm really glad that they're going to get married tomorrow. And I wish you the best from China, from the Pan family.
Before I say something, I would like Beth to tell us your first impression of Josh when you first met him. I thought you met him in China, but you told me no. I met him in the airport. So what was your first impression of Josh?
He was watching Winnie the Pooh in Chinese. He was watching Winnie the Pooh in Chinese on his computer, and I was like, ooh, strange guy.
So you thought he was kind of strange,
Yeah.
watching Winnie the Pooh in Chinese. Okay, I remember when Josh told us, we were in Bolivia, and Josh told us that he had a girlfriend, because he had never had a girlfriend before. And we were Skyping with him one time, and he said, "Good news, I have a girlfriend now." We thought it was so cute that he said, "Good news, I have a girlfriend." And it was good news. We were very happy for him, especially to know that she was a Christian woman, and that he said she was very sweet and she was a Christian, and we were happy for him. He seemed so happy too that he had a girlfriend. Little did we know what it was going to lead to, but we've been, Beth, we want you to know we've been praying for you for years. We didn't know it was going to be you. We didn't know who it was going to be, but we were praying for you. And that God would bring a godly woman into Josh's life and give him a godly wife. And we're so happy for you, we're excited for you, and we will be continue to pray for you and God's richest blessings in your marriage, on your marriage and your life. And we will always be there for you. We love you, Beth.
So a photography note, if all the family would please stay after the ceremony tomorrow, because we're going to do family pictures. That means all family. So extended family, everyone, not just brothers and sisters. Thank you.
David, what do the guys need to be ready for pictures?
The guys need to be ready for pictures at 3 and the girls at 2. Huh?
Guys at 2. Sorry. So yeah, thanks for coming, and it was just a great time to hear everything shared, and to have you all here in this room, just eating with us and fellowshipping over a meal. And we appreciate every single one of you, the families, Beth's family here, my family here. And just all that you mean to us, and that all of you have been close to us over the years, and we just really appreciate that, the support and the love. And so I thank you for coming, and we'll hopefully have a great day tomorrow, and then the actual ceremony where, it will be dear to our hearts, what happens, the vows that we say. So thank you all for coming. Hope you enjoy the meal, and enjoy the rest of the night. Thank you.